Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamai Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padam Pujanmani Savila Samaha Graha Grasaika Kanmani. Okay, we'll read from verse 79 to 85. We'll read what we've done before. Shoshasparsho gatirvegaha Vayudharma ime mataha Trayasvabhava sanmaya Yomnam yeteti vayugaha Vayurastiti sadbhavaha Sato vayo pritakrite Nistatvarupata maya Swabhavo vyomagodhvanihi Sato nuvritti sarvatra Vyomno neti pureritam Vyomanuvrittiradhuna Katham navyahatam vachaha Chidranuvrittirnetiti Urvoktiradhuna tviyam Shabdanuvrittirevokta Vachaso vyahati kutaha Nanu sadvastu parthakyat Asatvam chettada katham Avyaktamaya vaisham yat Amaya mayatapino Nistatvarupate vatra Mayatvasya prayojika Sa shakti karyayostulya Vyakta vyaktatva bhedino Sadasattva vivekasya Prastutatvat sachintyatam Asato vantara bhedaha Astam tat chintayatra kim. So what is he saying so far? What have we seen? Last time we started to discuss air, right? So we have completed space, and the idea is he's going from each element and falsifying. And so he says that this air has 7 properties. What are the 7 properties? It has existence from space. It has existence from existence. Nistatva from Maya means that not having its own independent reality, that from Maya. And then it has the property of space, sound. And then it also has touch. And then it also has here shosha. Shosha means the ability to absorb moisture. And it has gati, which means that's motion, and vega, speed. So it has 7 things. The first thing is existence from existence. And then from Maya, nistatva, not having its own independent reality. Then from space, sound, and then its own properties, which are touch, and then the ability to absorb moisture, movement, and speed. And so this is Vayu. And so here, what Swami Vidyaranyaji is trying to say is that each of the elements, they carry over the succeeding properties. But of course, we know Sat, or existence, isn't really the property. It's the substratum of everything. And so here now, there was an objection that it says that you said that Sat or existence pervades everything, and space doesn't pervade everything. So existence pervades everything, and space doesn't pervade everything. Like existence pervades space, air, fire, water, earth, but space does not. But now you're saying that space has pervaded air. So then the answer to that is that it's not that space has pervaded air per se, but the property of space, which is sound, that has pervaded air. So it doesn't mean that just because one thing is carried over, that the whole entity is carried over. It's just a property has been carried over. So like that, the succeeding ones, they take the properties or the essence, in case of existence, of before ones, the preceding ones. And so, okay, fine. Now, what are we trying to do here? Now, in all of them, right, extract the essence, extract the existence. Because we know that what's really happening is not that air exists. In existence, air is superimposed. So in existence, air is superimposed. And therefore, existence is the substratum, and air is that which is being held by the substratum. So now, what do? We take out existence from it. And you take out existence from it, what remains is non-existence. So air is non-existent, but yet it appears, so therefore it's mithya, where it's apparently existing. Okay, fine. But then there's another objection which says that how can air be mithya? How can it be illusory? Because Maya is illusory, but Maya and air are different. Maya and air are different because Maya is avyakta. Avyakta means it's unmanifest, and air is vyakta, it's manifest. So therefore, how can they be the same thing? They're different. One is manifest, the other is unmanifest. So the answer to that is manifestation or unmanifestation, that doesn't make something illusory. So whether something is able to manifest meaning being able to be perceived by our senses, or whether something is unmanifest, not being able to be perceived by our senses, that's not what makes something illusory. What makes something illusory is that it doesn't have its own independent existence, right? So in this way, yes, Maya and air are the same because they do not have their own independent existence. So whether we see something or we don't see something, that's not the criteria for illusion. The criteria for illusion is just this simple question we have to ask. Does it have its own independent existence? Does it? If it does not, then it's an illusion. So does this computer have its independent existence? From my awareness, from my awareness, my existence, does it have its own independent existence? No, right? Does this world have its own independent existence without awareness existence? No, right? If we really think deeply, the world doesn't have existence without existence. The world doesn't exist without awareness. So this is something that we really just need to think about. How we say things are an illusion is because they cannot exist on their own right. That's what it really truly means. So my body, can it exist without awareness, existence? No, My mind? No. My ego, my individuality, can it exist without awareness, without existence? No. That substratum of existence is called Sat. That substratum of awareness is called Chit. That is how everything exists in this world. So therefore, Swami Vidyaranyaji says, yes, there may be subdivisions as to what is unmanifest, what is more manifest, what is more manifest, more manifest. There may be subdivisions like that, because the more properties something has, the more manifest it becomes. So space, of course, has just sound, right? Then when we go to air, it has more properties. So it's more manifest. We can touch it, we can feel it. And then when we come, obviously, to something like fire, it has more properties. It has form, visibility. So it's more manifest. So he says, this is how things are unmanifest and more manifest, but that, there's no need to dwell too much on that, because they're all illusory. That's the main point. They're all illusory. Now, when we go into this topic, let's not forget why we're doing this, right? We're doing this because many times we give undue importance to the world around us, to the people around us, to the situations. And knowing this, it's not that we discard everybody or everything. We give them the required attention. We give everybody the required attention and the required time, the required space, and we do what we have to do in the world. But where samsara sets in is when we give undue importance. Undue importance to what somebody said to us, what somebody did to us, what happened here, what happened there, and the mind just sits and dwells on that. So samsara is in that. Vedanta doesn't say don't give importance to our family, to our friends, to our career. Yes, give it importance, give it necessary attention, but not undue importance that it becomes my end all and be all, that I cannot live without it, and I wouldn't know what I would do if it goes away from me. That is samsara. Okay, so now we're going to start from verse 86. Okay. Sadvastu brahma shishtomshaha vayurmithya yatha viyat. Sadvastu brahma shishtomshaha vayurmithya yatha viyat. Vasayatva chiram vayoho mithyatvam marutam tyajet. Vasayatvam chiram vayoho mithyatvam marutam tyajet. So here, what is it saying? Sad vastu brahma. What is real in air? What is the only reality in air? The only reality in air, which is not a property, which is a substratum, is existence. Sad vastu. That's the only reality in air. Shishtomsha vayur mithya yathavya. Shishtomsha means the remaining parts, the remaining properties are mithya. Their mithya means the illusory. They don't have their own existence. Just like space, yathavya. So what are we supposed to do then? Extracting, when we take air, right? And we say existence is there, that property of Maya is there, the illusoriness is there, that's superimposed on existence. Space is there, the property of space is there, the property of air is there. What do? Think about it. Think about it. If we extract existence, what remains? what remains is pure illusion. So this whole exercise that he's going to give us for each element is extract existence, and what remains is illusion. Vasayitva chiram means vasayitva means make a very deep impression about this. Vasayitva chiram. And this takes time. Chiram means long time. It takes time. Vayur mithyatvam marutam tyajet. So vasayitva, having made a very deep impression, chiram, for a long time, of what? Mithyatvam, of the illusory nature of vayu, of air. Marutam tyajet. Marutam also means air. Tyajet, discarded. Discarded means in our intellect. Discarded. So this term vasayatva is very important because what it means is that we have to dwell on it deep enough. You know, just that statement that I told you earlier, that something is illusory because it doesn't have its own existence, right? That even just dwelling on it deep enough that this world is illusory because it doesn't have its own existence. When we dwell in it, then it becomes readily available to us, to our being, to our minds. How do I know if I've dwelt on something deep enough? One point is it's easily accessible to me. So when you turn on your computer, right, what happens? The recent files are so accessible. You don't need to go dig for it here and there. There's like a sign there, recent files, and you click it and you're able to access it, right? It's so easily accessible because we've been using that document or using that for such a long time that you can get it right away. Or if you've been living with someone for a long time, you don't have to think too much about their name, right? You know that this person is Meena Mami, you know this person is Jay, is Mike, you know this person, you know who this person is. You don't have to think, you don't have to go into your mind, oh, what's their name? Where did I see them? How did I see them? When was the last time? Sometimes we have to go through these thoughts, right? When we meet someone. But when we really know who they are, it just comes. So vasayatva means having dwelt upon it. I know that I've dwelt upon something so deeply when it's so easily accessible to me. It just comes. I don't have to go through all of these formulas in my head. You know, like when we learn a language, we translate it to one thing and then translate it to another thing. And then it just sort of forms in our head. This one just comes. And we also know that, the point number 2, we also know that it's deep enough in us when that reality is not negated by perception. Because sometimes when we see things, we forget, oh, the underlying existence is that self. This is just appearing. This is just illusory, you know? So that underlying existence, that's always there. It's like a Shruti that's always there. So our perception doesn't negate reality. We don't forget that this is just appearing. That's how we know it's deep. But when our perception can negate reality, it can make us forget reality, then it means it's not deep enough. Not deep enough. So vasayatva chiram. Sit with it, hold it, dwell on it for a long time, and then let go of air. Let go of air and know that it's illusory, doesn't have its own existence. Okay, now what do I do when I let go of air? So now he's going to say, okay, the same thing that we've been doing now, we will do it to the other elements, right? So let's look at verse 87. Chintayedvahnimapyevam Chintayedvahnimapyevam Maruto nyunavartinam Brahmandavaraneshvesha Nyunadhika vicharana Chintayedvahnimapyevam Maruto nyunavartinam Brahmandavaraneshvesha Nyunadhika vicharana. Okay, so he says, now Chintayed. Chintayed, we can think of Chintayed Vahni api evam. Chintayed, think of fire. Vahni means fire. Agni, Vahni is fire. Api evam, even fire. Marutaha nyuna vartinam. Fire is less pervasive than air. So fire, so we have existence, right? Most pervasive, all pervasive rather, then space, existence, then Maya, then space, then air, then fire. So fire is less pervasive than air. Fire is less pervasive than air. And he says, Nyunadhika vicharana. We should do the vichara. We should do the thinking, the inquiry of Nyuna and Adhika vichara. Which is less pervasive, which is more pervasive. We should do that. Brahmanda varaneshveshu. In Brahmanda. So we should go up to Brahmanda. Brahmanda means this cosmic womb. Anda literally means egg, but here Brahmanda means cosmic womb. And this will also come in Panchadashi in the following verses. So we will see it when it comes there. But what he's trying to say in this verse is continue this vichara, continue this inquiry and trying to figure out what is more pervasive, what is less pervasive. Keep on doing this because obviously what is all pervasive, what is most pervasive, that alone is reality. That alone is true, right? So he says, keep on doing this vichara and you will come to know the essence of everything. So now we look at fire. So we're going into the inquiry of fire. Verse 88. Vayor dashamshato nyunaha Vayor dashamshato nyunaha Vahnirvayo prakalpitaha Vahnirvayo prakalpitaha Puranoktam taratamyam Dashamsher bhuta panchake Vayor dashamshato nyunaha Vahnirvayo prakalpitaha Puranoktam taratamyam Dashamsher bhuta panchake. So what is he saying here? Vayoho dashamshataha nyunaha vahnihi means fire is 1/10 of air. Fire is 1/10 of air. So each element is essentially 1/10 of the preceding one. So it's like this, right? We have fire, right? Fire is 1/10 of air. Air is 1/10 of space. Space is 1/10 of Maya. Maya is 1/10 of Brahman. So each element is 1/10 of the preceding one. This is what that dashamshata means, right? So where is this seen? Purana Uktam. So Vayor dashamshataha nyunam vahni. that Vahni, that fire, is 1/10 of air. And it says here, Vayo prakalpitaha, means in air, fire is imagined. It's imagined, it's illusory. And this is shown in the Purana. Purana, in Vishnu Purana and Bhagavata Purana. And what it shows is that each element is 1/10 of its preceding one. Now let's just think about this for a second, right? What is the Purana really trying to tell us? The Purana is trying to tell us, to show us the pervasiveness of the elements, that they become less pervasive as their properties are more and more, but also that they're all superimposed on Sat. So I want to bring to your mind this example of a screen and movie. Okay, just bring this to your mind. This is what Swami Vidyarayaji is trying to do. You have a screen, and on that screen, first is you have this effect, this projection. This projection is Maya. Okay, so on the screen, you have this projection. And in this projection, what do you have? You have space. So you have a movie, right? You have a movie. In the movie, you have space, of course. You have air. Think of a scene there with air flowing in the movie. And then, of course, there's some fire. So there's sun there. There's a sun maybe there in the movie. Water, there might be a lake or something there. And then earth, there might be land or something around there. And so what you're looking at essentially is that there is this screen, and all of this is projected in the screen. All of this is there in the screen. And all of these elements are there. Now, the screen is, of course, existence. It's Sat, right? And that projection or that movie is that Maya, how that whole light and sound comes into play, that is Maya. And then, of course, the elements are the elements: space, air, fire, water, earth, right? Now, take out the screen. Will you still have the movie? You can't have the movie, right? You can't have the movie because there's no screen. So therefore, we say the movie is illusory. So the same thing, again, here he's trying to say, take out existence. Just have this practice of extracting existence. It's a practice in the intellect. It's a practice in vichara and inquiry. Extract existence, keep extracting existence. Will it still be able to be? Can it still be without being? Can it still exist without existence? So in this way, our Puranas also tell us these things in very, very beautiful ways to make us think deeper. Of course, our Pramana, our main authority of knowledge, is our Upanishads. But what the Puranas and Itihasas do, Itihasas are the historical texts, is they take the essence of the Upanishads and they bring it out in anecdotes, in a story, so that we're able to dwell on it deeper. So they use all kinds of symbols, examples, stories, visuals, so our minds can stay there. Because not many minds can stay in the Upanishad, just the Upanishad verse. Some minds need a lot of background, a lot of drama also, right? So this is what's being said there. Okay, so now we're examining fire. So first he's going to say, these are the properties of fire. And then the essence of fire is existence. Now extract the existence from fire. And what remains is the illusoriness of fire. Think deeply about it. So this is his methodology. Okay. So let's read now verse 89. Vahnirushna prakashatma, Vahnirushna prakashatma, Purvanugatirattracha, Urvanugatirattracha, Asti vahni sanistatvaha. Asti vahni sanistatvaha. Shabdavan sparshavanapi. Shabdavan sparshavanapi. Vahnirushna prakashatma. Purvanuggatiratra cha. Asti vahni sanistatvaha. Shabdavan sparshavanapi. So now here are the properties of fire. Vahni, ushnaha. So here, Vahni means fire, ushnaha, heat, prakashatma, light. So fire has these properties of heat and light. You can actually see fire. You can feel the heat of fire. Purvanugati ratracha means purvanugati atracha, atra here also in fire. The different properties of the preceding elements, Maya and existence, also come, right? So this is Purva Anugatir Atracha. Asti Vahni. We say air is. The very fact that we say air is Asti Vahni, that is existence. And as I repeat, we're generalizing it as properties, but we all know existence is not the property, right? So Asti Vahni. Air is. That shows existence is there, definitely. Sanistatvatha. If we look at fire, it cannot exist without existence. So that's its nistatvata, its illusoriness. Nistatva. It doesn't have its own reality, right? So if you take existence away, it cannot exist. That's from Maya. That's from Maya. Shabdavan, and of course, sound is from space. Sparshavan, and the touch is from air. So if we look at fire, what happens is fire has a sound. That sound is from space, where we can hear fire. Fire also has touch. Right? You can touch it, you can feel it. That's from air. And then it brings to the table heat and light. So this is all fire. Now, what do we have to do with this fire? Verse number 90. Sanmaya vyoma vaivam shaihi. Sanmaya vyoma vaivam shaihi. Yuktasyagnir nijo gunaha. Yuktasyagnir nijo gunaha. Rupam tatra satas sarvam. Rupam tatra satas sarvam. Anyad buddhya vivicyatam. Anyad buddhya vivicyatam. Sanmaya vyoma vaivam shaihi. Yuktasyagnir nijo gunaha. Rupam tatra satas sarvam. Anyad buddhya vivicyatam. So here it says, this Agni, right? This Agni, this fire is endowed with sun, sat, existence, Maya, that nistatva, illusoriness of Maya, Vyoma, the property of space, sound, Vayu, the property of air, touch. It's endowed with all of that, and the own guna, or the own property of fire, agnehe nijo gunaha, is rupam, is form, right? So fire, it said earlier, has heat, it has light, but it also has this property of form. So the main one is actually form, that visibility. We're able to see it, because in the, in space and air, we still can't see, we still can't perceive. But when fire comes, now you can see. So the main one is really that form, rupa. Then tatra satas sarvam anyad buddhya vivichyata. Then what it says here, in that air, sataham here means other than sat, anyad sarvam. all things other than existence, buddhya vivichyata. You have to add the word mithya here. Buddhya vivicyatam. Know that they are illusory through the intellect. So again, it's the same process of taking fire and looking at all the things that make fire, that fire consists of, that make fire. All of the things, existence, that illusoriness of Maya, the sound, the touch, the form, the heat, the light, looking at all of it, extract existence. Then what do you get? It cannot exist. Cannot exist on its own. And hence it's illusory. It's an illusion. Nistatva. And so now he says, verse 91, Sato vivechite va no. Sato vivechite va no. Mithyate sati vasite. Mithyate sati vasite. Apo dasham shato nyunaha. Apo dasham shato nyunaha. Kalpita iti chintayet. Kalpita iti chintayet. Sato vivechite va no. Mithyate sati vasite. Apo dasham shato nyunaha. Kalpita iti chintayet. So here now it says, Sataha vivechite vahno. So this in air, what happens? Sataha vivechite. We have sort of distinguished, vivechite, distinguished from existence, air. So we've distinguished, right? This is air and we have extracted existence. And what do we have to do? Mithyatve sati vasite. Again, make this very, very deeply rooted. So the same word earlier we saw as vasayitva, here we see it, vasite. So when we, basically here, when we extract existence from air, and when we think and dwell on the when we extract existence from fire, and we dwell deeply on it, what happens is, now, apo dasham shato nyunaha. Now think about water. And what is water? Water is 1/10 of fire. So when we extract existence from fire, then think about it. Think of the illusoriness of fire. Dwell on the illusoriness of fire. Think about it. And then now we're ready to come into water. And water is what? 1/10 of that fire. And kalpita iti chintaye. Think about it. Think about this imaginary nature of water. Okay. Now this word again, vasite, let's think about it a little deeper here, right? First we saw vasayatva. How do we know something's very, very deep in us? One, it's easily accessible. We can just get it, immediately access it. Second is perceptibility will never negate reality. It will never negate reality. So even if I see things, if I experience things around me, I won't lose the underlying reality of existence. What else? What else is that it starts to show in my daily living. So as I said earlier, why we get stuck in the samsara is we give undue importance, right? So when this is deep in us, we have less harsh reactions to the world. We have less disturbances. We have less attachments, less expectations. All of these things start to lessen. And this is not, again, there's a difference between being carefree and careless. Okay? A Brahmajnani, an enlightened being, is carefree but not careless. An unenlightened being can be both carefree and careless, right? Or can be just careless but not carefree. Okay? So Vasayatva is that it has become so deep in me that I am carefree but not careless. Carefree means it's okay. Whatever happens, it's okay. It's okay. Because remember, the nature of Maya, when we studied, it's illusory. We can't explain it. Sometimes it's this way, sometimes it's that way, sometimes it goes here, it goes there. You can't explain it. So this happens, it's okay. This doesn't happen, it's okay. Someone comes, okay. Someone goes, okay. There is that sense of freedom. Carefree has that sense of freedom. But even if a jnani, an enlightened being, is very carefree because they're okay with whatever happens, they're able to, they're very independent of everything. They're still very caring. They're still very caring because they understand that once they were also at that state where so many pressures were there, tensions, people are anxious, people are worried. They understand. They understand that so many things could happen out in the world. They understand that people have problems, they have situations. So they understand, hey, we were there too. They were there too. And therefore, they say, okay, we'll have to handle this with care. But yet in our hearts, in their hearts, be very carefree. So this vasite means it has gone so deep that there's a sense of carefreeness. But they live very, very carefully. Very carefully. So, having distinguished fire from existence and dwelling on it, on what? Existence, not fire. Dwelling on existence and the unreality of fire, then now go into water and think about water. So let us see now this verse 92. Santyapomushunyatvaha Santyapomushunyatvaha Sashabdasparsha samyutaha Rupavatyonyadharmanuvritya Swiyoraso gunaha Santyapomushunyatvaha Sashabdasparsha samyutaha Rupavatyonyadharmanuvritya Swiyoraso gunaha. Okay, so here what it's saying is, now think about water, right? Think about water. So we thought about fire. First we thought about existence, then Maya, then space, then air, then fire. Now think about water. We say amu. Amu means these. Apaha santi. Water is in plural. It's always plural. So these are water. It literally means these are water, but this is water. That means existence. Water is. That means existence. Shunyatatvaha. Shunyatatva means tattva, reality. Shunya. It doesn't have its own reality, so that it's Maya. So existence. And then in water, it doesn't have its own reality. Sashabda, it has sound that comes from space. Sparsha, it comes from air. Touch comes from air. Samyutaha, so it's endowed with all of this. It exists, existence, and then nistatva or shunyatattva, that's Maya. And then what happens is sound. And then what happens is touch. And then what happens from fire? Rupavatyaha. 4. Anya dharmanuvritya. And then, so it takes all of that. It takes all of that and swiyaha raso gunaha. And it adds its own property. And its own property is what? Rasa, tasteability. So it takes all of those properties and then it adds its own, which is tasteability. And then what do we do with this water? The same thing. We take water and we take existence and we separate them. Extract existence from water, and water is illusory. And then again, he will say, dwell on that. Okay, so we will do this one last verse so we can complete water. And then next week we will see earth. Sato vivechita swapsu. Sato vivechita swapsu. Tanmithyatve cha vasite. Tanmithyatve cha vasite. Bhumir dasham shato nyuna. Bhumir dasham shato nyuna. Kalpitapsviti chintayet. Kalpitapsviti chintayet. Sato vivechita swapsu. Tanmithyatve cha vasite. Bhumir dasham shato nyuna. Kalpitapsviti chintayet. So again he says, Sataha, from existence, vivechita su apsu. Again, you distinguish existence from water. Extract existence from water. Tanmithyatve cha vasite. And in that unreality of water, vasite, dwell deeply on it. Dwell deeply on the unreality of water. Bhumi dasham shataha nyuna. Bhumi means the earth element is 1/10 of that water. Kalpitapsu iti chintayet. And it is imagined in water. So again, when we might wonder, why is Swami Vidyaranyaji going into so much detail and doing one after the other, The key word in this is vasite. So he's also doing this because he realizes that for us to dwell on this deeply, he has to repeat it, because just think about it. If we were to dwell on scriptures on our own deeply, it's hard. It's hard to sit there and reflect deeply again and again and again, because the mind can get carried away into so many things. But he himself, the beauty of how he's laying out this text is he is helping us dwell on it. And he's saying, think again, think again, think again. It's going from each element to the next, each element to the next. And the only practice he's asking us to do is extract existence from something. Does it exist? If it doesn't, then it's illusory. And the only reality is existence. And that existence is you. So that practice is just keep doing that. Just keep doing that. Any trouble comes, any problem comes, anything comes. Okay, it's there. Extract existence. And then what happens is we feel so light. Okay, it's just a show. It has to go on. Okay, now this is what I can do. Actually, when we extract existence and we feel lighter, then we can think better. But if we give it so much reality, our minds are so pressured and tensed and so worried that it's so hard to deal with it. So the main practice for this section is just doing that. Extract existence from it. Then see it and deal with it. And that's much better. Okay, so we'll stop here. We'll say the closing prayer. The next week we will do earth, and then after earth he comes into a very interesting discussion about the jnani, the one who has realized all of this. Okay, Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.